Hey team, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can become the strongest, fittest, leanest version of yourself and stay there for life. I'm going to go through exactly how we get our clients there step by step so that you can do it too. If you're watching this, I imagine you feel like you're doing everything right, you're training 5 days a week, you're eating clean. For some reason, nothing seems to be changing and you still don't look like you train. You've probably got a busy career, a busy family life, and a busy social life. You're working really hard, but the balance is off somewhere. And you're probably at a point where you want to look strong, you want to feel good, you want to feel fit, and you want to do it all without having to obsess over every meal you eat, over every workout you're doing. And ultimately, you want your actions to match your words. But look, I get it. This is where most people are before they start working with me. So how can we get you from where you are now to where you want to be, being the strongest, fittest, leanest version of you, and stay there for life? Well, keep watching, I'm going to show you. Okay, so in order to know that you are getting towards where you want to be in terms of being the leanest, strongest and fittest version of you and staying there for life, there are key milestones that you need to make sure that you're nailing to enable yourself to get there. So I'm going to take you through these on the iPad now. So as you can see here, the dream goal is obviously being the strongest, fittest and healthiest version of you. So in order to get there, the key milestones that we need to make sure we're hitting are making sure that we are getting weekly, predictable strength gains and performance improvements, okay? And that's the first thing, because if you're not getting stronger, you're not going to be building muscle. If we're not improving our performance, we're not going to be building muscle. So that's the first thing, and that's one of the things that a lot of people are missing, and I'll go through what the roadblocks are for people reaching that slightly later on. And the next thing you need to make sure you're getting is to do with your nutrition. So for this, what we're looking for is progress, not perfection, okay? It's making nutrition work for you. What this means is having a really solid and in-depth understanding of nutrition so that you understand that you don't have to be perfect all the time, you know how to fit it in around your life, and you don't let social occasions throw you off. This is another one of the key milestones that we need to make sure we have if we want to become that version of yourself you want to become. Now, the last thing that we need to go through now is all about identity, and this is the identity milestone that you all need to have to get to where you want to be. And this is all about stepping into the shoes of the version of you want to be. Okay, so those 3 milestones really are the cornerstone of building that lean, fit, athletic body and making it last for a lifetime. Now, how do we achieve those things? Each of these will have specific roadblocks that you're doing at the moment that are getting in your way. And what we need to do is show you how to bridge the gap between where you are now and being able to hit these milestones every single day so that you can ultimately get those results that you want. And I will go through those in a second. So who am I to tell you about all of this? Well, look, I have been exactly where you are right now, trying to work it out for yourself. I had a busy job, had a busy family life, really busy social life. I spent 7 years in corporate recruitment in an office job with long hours, late nights, takeaways, boozing, you name it, the things you're doing at the moment, I was doing as well. But even through all of that chaos, I was able to maintain a really good physique year round, not because I had more time or more discipline than you, but because I had the right structure. And I knew what that structure was because I did a sport and exercise science degree and I devoted my life to learning everything I wanted to learn about health and fitness. Now that structure became the foundation of what is now the OWC Built for Life Blueprint, which is a system that's helped hundreds of people, men and women, to build the bodies they want and keep themselves there. And I'm about to take you through how it works. So what we've gone through is the key milestones you need to be able to hit. Now we're going to go through the roadblocks that are holding people back from being able to get to where they want to be. So for each of these milestones, there's going to be a specific roadblock that is holding you back. For the weekly predictable strength gains, what's holding you back from being able to get that is probably unstructured training. It feels random, it takes you too long, and as a result of all of that, you are not seeing changes, okay? Now, when it comes to the training side of things, often people aren't making progress because they don't have the right intensity, they're not sure what they need to focus on, and they don't know how all of that relates to what they're doing with your nutrition. Which means you can go to the gym as much as you want, but if you're not doing the right things, nothing is going to consistently move forward no matter how hard you try. Next, we have the nutrition side of things. Now, the key thing you need to make sure you're doing here is understanding that you don't have to be perfect. It's all about understanding how to structure your nutrition so you can make progress and make it fit around your life. Now, the roadblocks that a lot of people have from a nutrition standpoint are that they have, first of all, that all or nothing approach, all or nothing nutrition, okay? And what this means is you will basically ride on motivation each and every week, start again on Monday, be good Monday to Wednesday, it gets later in the week, social occasions happen, you fall off track, nothing ever changes and you start again on the Monday again. Now this all stems from the fact that you don't know what works. You're not sure what your body needs and you're not sure what to fuel it with to ultimately get you to where you want to be. And then that causes, as we just discussed, the lack of ability to deal with socials. Again, apologies for my handwriting. Just want to make sure this isn't taking too long. So that's the second thing. Now, when you don't have the right approach with your nutrition, it can feel really confusing. It makes eating out feel terrifying. It makes going to other people's house for food feel terrifying. It makes going out for drinks feel terrifying because you have no idea how that's going to affect your ability to progress, except for the fact that you know it's going to be negative. Okay? Now, the third thing we want to be looking at here is when we're talking about becoming who you want to be, which is all about having the identity that you can step into the shoes of the person that you want to become and actually act like that version of you. Now, a lot of people have blockers here because they rely solely on motivation week to week, like I just mentioned with nutrition, right? Some weeks they feel more motivated, some weeks they don't, and that really dictates whether they're able to stay consistent with the behaviors that they need to be doing. So if we put that on here, we can put motivation-based identity, which causes you to second guess the process, because if you're not able to stay consistent with what you're trying to do, you're not going to see any results, which means you don't trust that what you're doing is working because you're not seeing those results. But the reason you're not seeing results is because you're not feeling motivated, so you're not staying consistent, which makes you second guess the process. And if you're second guessing the process and you're second guessing the amount of progress you're making, you have no chance of sticking to something because you're not going to be getting those dopamine hits that you want to show that you are definitively moving things forward. Essentially what I'm describing here is the pattern of an individual who tries to be good in the week. They have a good social life, so they're out at the weekend. They don't continue to do the behaviors that they need to do over the weekend. They maybe drink too much, eat too much. It gets to the end of that weekend, they look themselves in the mirror and nothing's changed yet again. This is the sort of person that has probably tried loads of different things. 8-week challenges, keto, loads of cardio. Deep down, if you are one of these individuals, you know that those things aren't the problem. It's you that's the problem and your inability to stick to those things. But the reason you can't stick to those things is because they haven't been built specifically for you. You've probably told yourself that to be able to be in shape, you have to be absolutely obsessed with the process, take yourself to the gym every day, and there's no way you can enjoy your food. And you've probably convinced yourself that it's not worth it, even though you feel the way you do. It's basically a cycle of burnout, guilt, repeat. And what we need to do is show you how to break that. So I'm now going to walk you through exactly what you need to do to get yourself through those roadblocks so you can start to hit the milestones you need to hit to get to where you want to be. Okay, so the first thing I want to go through with you is our philosophy, because this is the main thing that is going to determine whether you can get to where you want to be or not. And our philosophy is all about understanding, because if you understand the process, why it works, why you're doing what you need to do, it's going to build confidence in that process. And when you start to have confidence that the process is going to work, it's going to mean you're going to be able to be consistent because you're going to trust that you'll get results from doing it. Okay? It's really difficult to stay consistent with something that you're not 100% sure is going to get you the results you want. Now, if you can start to stay consistent with the right routine, you're going to start to see results. And as a result of that, you'll stay more consistent, and then you will start to identify as someone who is consistent, which means you're building the beliefs that you are who you say you are, which makes it easier for you to continue to do those things. So this is what it's all about for us. It's all about understanding, building confidence, which builds consistency, which makes you feel like you are who you say you are. Okay? Now that's the first thing. Before we go any further, what I want you guys to do is to actually do a bit of a self-assessment on where you're at with a number of different habits you're going to have to do to get to where you want to be. You'll see here, I want you to rate yourself 1 to 5 on consistent training, sleep and stress, nutrition on social days, adherence on weekends, and progressive overload. Once you've scored yourself on each, add up your score. If you're below 20, what that says to you is that there's a number of areas you really need to work on in order to start seeing results. And what you need is essentially a structure for each of those things that allows you to stay consistent based on your schedule and your life. So take note of the areas that need more work and then pay attention to what I'm about to say and how that relates to the areas you really need to improve on. So now I'm going to show you how to bridge the gap between those roadblocks we spoke about and those milestones. And these are specific frameworks and specific techniques that we use within the OWC Built for Life blueprint that get our clients the results that they get. So you'll see here, it's in the shape of a bridge, right? Your dream outcome is in the middle here, about becoming the strongest, fittest, and healthiest version of you, right? The one you've said for ages that you want to become and you've not managed to do yet, okay? So how do we bridge this gap? Well, if we're looking at the fact that your roadblock was random training effort, not much structure, not enough intensity, you're not seeing any changes in the gym and you're not getting stronger, how do we get you to getting weekly predictable performance wins and getting consistently stronger? Well, there's 2 things. The first thing we use with our clients is the time-efficient physique blueprint. Now, this is all about showing you how you can build a short, sharp workout program that gets you in the gym, gets you doing the right things, and gets you quick results from it. Now, one of the biggest reasons people don't get stronger is because they don't structure it correctly. So the second thing we're doing with training to bridge the gap here is our strength surge protocol. And this is all about showing you the right intensity, the right technique, the right exercise selection, so that you can consistently get stronger week on week, and therefore get that dopamine hit that you're looking for, that you know things are progressing and that you will ultimately end up where you want to be. Then with nutrition, the main roadblock for everyone to get to where they want to be, which is complete control with nutrition, where they feel like nutrition works for them, where they're making progress and they're not being perfect. The roadblock for that is those all or nothing food habits and not knowing what actually works with nutrition, and therefore life throws you off. So for our clients, what we focus on in this scenario is we have a nutrition intelligence framework. Now, the nutrition intelligence framework isn't about telling you what to eat on a Wednesday morning. It's about telling you, okay, what are the key things you need to be focusing on with nutrition, and why do you need to be focusing on things? And how can we make sure that fits around your life? Knowledge really is power with nutrition. I know that sounds cliche, but it is true. It's all well and good knowing about nutrition, knowing lots about it and what the theory is, but we really need to make sure able to be applied practically in day-to-day life. And this is where our real life nutrition playbook comes in. We take all of that theory that we've learned in the nutrition intelligence framework and apply it to social occasions, to times where you're traveling, to times where you're eating out, times where someone else is cooking for you, so you know how to manage all these different inevitable situations that are going to happen in life and still make progress. What I always say to my clients is the difference between people who get results and people who don't really does come down to planning. And if you know enough about nutrition and you know how to fit it into different situations, you really can plan ahead and make it work for you, not against you. Now, the third roadblock was all about identity and habits. As we discussed earlier, a lot of people base their ability to stay consistent on the motivation that they have week to week rather than their identity. And what I mean by that is that if you want to stay consistent, you have to identify as someone who does those behaviors and who is consistent. We all know that feeling when you don't have much motivation and you give in to that internal voice telling you not to go and work out or not to do the thing that you said you were going to do. You get that feeling of guilt, of self-loathing to a certain extent, which is not very nice, okay? So what we need to do to get rid of this roadblock is essentially give you the right habits and the right structures that fit around your life so that you can easily stay consistent with them, because then when you can easily stay consistent with them, like I said earlier, you start to identify as someone who can stay consistent, meaning that you are more likely to continue to do those behaviors longer term. So with our clients, what we go through here is two different things. So we've got the identity-driven discipline method, and this is all about aligning habits with who they want to be, not just based on how they feel that day. And this allows them to become the person that follows through with the things they say they're going to do, which builds proof that they are who they say they are, which builds massive amounts of confidence. And the second thing here is the education advantage system. So a lot of people we speak to have a real problem with second guessing the amount of progress they're making and second guessing the process itself, which means they feel lost, they feel negative about how things are going, and it can actually end up with them stopping doing things altogether. With the education advantage system, this gives people complete clarity over the whole process. So we get people to take a step back, to have an overview of everything they're going to have to do, both short term and long term, to get themselves to where they want to be, which means by the end of the time they finish their program with us, they feel like they can go and do it on their own. And this is the key bit that makes results stick long term. Now, as you can see, all of those pillars will get you to the point where you are nailing these key milestones that you need to be nailing each and every week to be able to move things forward. And if you can do that consistently, you will become the strongest, fittest, leanest version of you. Now, that's all well and good, but how are these things actually structured into a coherent program that actually gets you to where you want to be? So there's the key pillars for each of the training, nutrition, identity, and habits areas, okay? Now, to actually get you to where you want to be, that needs to be put together in a coherent program. And this is the sort of structure that you guys can look at and decide to replicate yourself if you don't want to get help doing it. But I'm going to walk you through how we do it with the OWC Built for Life blueprint. All right. So you'll see here we have 3 different phases. Now, those 3 different phases are underpinned by all of those pillars that we just went through. So for training, you've got that time efficient physique blueprint, which allows you to build muscle when you don't have much time. You've got the strength surge protocol, which shows you how you can consistently get stronger and add weight to the bar every single week. For nutrition, we've got the nutrition intelligence framework, which shows you exactly what you need to focus on nutrition and why, and how you can approach it over the long term. And that is then combined with the real life nutrition playbook. which shows you how to apply it in different inevitable situations that will always happen in your life. And then for habits and identity, we have the identity-driven discipline framework. And to make sure you know what the longer-term vision looks like for you, we have the advantage education system. Now, if you're someone that has a little bit too much body fat, meaning that you can't really see your abs, one of the first things you want to do is make sure you can pull off that body fat quickly, because there is no sense in you trying to approach doing a muscle building phase at that point, because all you're going to do is, if you eat too much food, you're going to be putting on body fat that you can't really afford to put on. So with most people, we start them on the lean and strong protocol, and this is about giving you the structures to lose fat and only fat. This isn't about losing weight. We want to show you how to get as strong as possible so that you can maintain and potentially build as much muscle mass as possible during that phase. Now, before we start that phase, what we'll work out is what your starting body fat percentage is, how long it's going to take you to get to a certain body fat percentage, and we can tell you exactly how long that's going to take. Meaning you don't feel like you're dieting forever, which I know a lot of people do. Once you've done that, what you want to do is move yourself into what's called a metabolic rebuild protocol, which is where you get yourself eating as much food as possible whilst maintaining the lean physique that you have now built. All of that comes before pushing you into a lean gains phase where you stay nice and lean and build muscle consistently over the long term. And that's the phase you really want to be spending most of the year in. This is all well and good showing you this in theory, but what does it actually look like from a results perspective when you apply all of this information? So if we just scroll across here, you will see a number of the results that we've got so far, okay? And you'll see everyone here has gone through a process of getting really nice and lean at least once, okay? You can see myself in here as well. I apply these principles to myself every single day, and I can guarantee you that they work. It's just about understanding how to make it work for you and your lifestyle. And based on that, I want to talk you through one specific client's own journey about how he got to where he is now. This is my client, Dave. He came to me in his early 40s. He's got a busy career, he's got kids, and his weekends are full. In his own words, he'd said he got himself in the worst shape of his life. He trained hard for years, but no matter what he did, the muscle never came and the fat never shifted. And like a lot of guys in that situation, he chased those quick fixes like the 8-week challenges, like the keto diets, like those crash calorie cutting diets as well. But he'd get 2 weeks in, didn't see the results he wanted, so he'd give up, which led to him just feeling that he was kind of sick of telling himself to sort it out, but never following through. Now look, that's the story for a lot of people we work with, but Dave came to us and applied the exact pillars that we have taken you through today. And as a result, he dropped body fat fast, he built muscle, he got his energy levels back. And again, in his own words, he feels better now in his 40s than he ever did in his 20s. And that is just because of the structure. The fundamentals never change, but what changes is how you apply it to each and every individual. And like I said before, this is the same system that I live and breathe myself. I've run through every cycle of this and I maintain my condition year round with relative ease. This is all based on evidence and it's all based on what works in the real world. And I've been through the situations that you're probably going through. I've lived it through the chaos of corporate life, family life, and going out on the weekends all the time. And I guarantee you, if you apply this stuff and you apply it properly, you will get to where you want to be. Now, like I've said before, the outcome isn't about just getting the results that you can see on the screen here. It's about getting them and keeping them for life. It's about building a body and routine that's actually sustainable, because that will give you complete control of your health and fitness and your longevity for years to come. Doing the work up front and getting it right really does set you up for the long run. Now, if you want some help on learning how to do all this properly, all you need to do is go through to my Instagram profile and drop me a message saying bridge the gap, so that I can show you how to bridge the gap between those roadblocks that you're facing at the moment to hitting the milestones you need to hit to get to where you want to be. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.